In November 2021, Panasonic released a camera that excited a lot of people, but also confused a lot of people at the same time. The BS1H is the first full-frame box-style camera, and it shares pretty much everything with the S1H, just in a box form factor and with no screen and no IBIS. It's definitely not for everyone, but in today's video I'll be talking about why this stands to be one of the best cameras I've ever used, and why it definitely deserves its place in the Lumix lineup. The BS1H is unapologetically a video camera with modularity and extended I/O at the forefront. And when I first saw the announcement for the BS1H, I was super excited since I'm a huge fan of the box style cameras, like of course the Red Komodo and the entire Z-Cam lineup. To me they just make a lot of sense, but I know that they can be a hard sell for some, so please allow me to explain why the box form factor is so great. When you do filmmaking or videography full time, you need a camera that can be used in a multitude of ways. Sometimes you want to create a dedicated handheld rig with V-mount power and handles galore, for comfortable handheld shooting over long periods of time. And then you might also want to be able to strip that camera back down to its bare bones so you can then put it on gimbals and stabilizers. And if you're getting really fancy, you may also want to create mounting rigs where you can mount the camera onto, let's say, the bonnet of a car, for example, or even have a small and discreet package that you can permanently leave set up somewhere in the studio for something like live streaming or web conferencing. And this is where box style cameras shine because they do all of this extremely well. In fact, I'd say they arguably do it better than any other type of camera. Of course, this does mean that your mentality on a camera like this becomes very different to a hybrid camera like the S5 or the S1H, so you'll have to be prepared to buy a bunch of extra stuff to make the BS1H work for you, but this is what separates people who do a little bit of video work to those who do video work every single day of their lives, like someone like me. The thing is, if you already have been shooting video for a while, then chances are you already have an external monitor, a top handle, and maybe even a side handle as well. So the only extra thing that I need to get to make this kit ready to go was a cage that fits the BS1H. So really, I'd say that this camera is for the more experienced videographer who already understands the importance of versatility and probably already has a lot of this equipment laying around from previous setups. So with that out of the way, let's actually dive into the features of this camera that are not present on the S1H or any of the other full-frame hybrid Lumix bodies. The BS1H has a great selection of ports with a full-size HDMI, an SDI out, a TC in-out and a Genlock in. It also has a full-size Ethernet port for live streaming, as well as the standard 1/4 inch mic input and headphone input. There's also a DC in, so if you did want to leave this camera rolling for a long period of time in one place, then you can go ahead and plug it straight into a wall outlet. There's two UHS 2 SD card slots for internal recording, but personally I tend to record ProRes via the Atomos Ninja V when I use this camera. There's a bunch of 1/4 inch mounting holes all over the body of this camera, but personally I just opt for a cage and attach all of the accessories to that rather than putting stress on the camera body itself. And there's also a bunch of buttons around the lens mount and on the top of the camera that you can program for easy setting changes. And while it does take a little bit of getting used to, it's definitely more than enough for me. Because there is no built-in screen on this camera, you will need to attach a monitor to view the menus and of course to see what you're shooting, or you could always opt to use the Lumix Sync app on your phone as well. Something that people may not realize as well is that the battery life on a box style camera, of course depending on what battery it takes, will more than likely be better than an all-in-one body like the S5 or the S1H. Since there's no screen to power and no IBIS to power, it means that the power drain will effectively be less with a lower current draw in general. The BS1H doesn't take the regular Sony MP style batteries like many people would assume, but instead it takes the AG VBR style batteries from Panasonic, and while at first I was confused about this choice, I actually do think that the VBR batteries are superior to the MP batteries after using them for a while. For example, the official Panasonic battery for the S1 has a capacity of 3050 mAh, and the official S5 batteries have a capacity of 2200 mAh, and they both have to power the processor, screen, IBIS and fans in both of those camera bodies. However, the Panasonic AG VBR59 battery for the BS1H has a capacity of 5900 mAh, so in theory you should be seeing almost double the battery life for the BS1H, but of course there's a lot more to it than just that, so please take this comparison with a pinch of salt. As I said earlier, the box style form factor becomes greatly appreciated when you want to rig up or strip down for different shooting scenarios. Since the BS1H is so small and light, it's super easy to balance on a gimbal and can be stripped down and perfectly balanced within 2 minutes, making it a very quick camera to use on set. I plan on making a few videos on the BS1H and box style cameras in general over the next few months, so there will be some more in-depth guides on this camera, but for now I just wanted to talk about the use cases for a camera like this and why I genuinely believe that it would be a great option for some video-only shooters out there who already love the Panasonic system and want a more video-centric body that can still shoot the same amazing codecs that are found in the S1H, as well as output ProRes RAW and BMRaw with their respective recorders. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it somewhat useful, entertaining, or interesting, and if you did, then please subscribe to the channel because I do make a lot of content on here surrounding the Panasonic full frame lineup of cameras and the L-mount system in general, so if that's your sort of thing, then this channel will be for you. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Thank you.